I have gained a lot of weight. Hi guys, this is Naman and no, this is not a how to lose your weight video. It's just that the motivation to read this book, which is what I talk about when I talk about running, which is by Murakami. The author is super fit and he has this routine in which he's a morning person also. And I am also, or at least used to be, a morning person. I was looking for some motivation to get back into the grind, to get back into running or exercising, just to shed out the extra kilos or pounds. And that's when I found out this book. This is one of the best sellers in marathon and fitness category, and the author is very famous. I'm sure your favorite booktuber must have covered his routine in which he wakes up, writes for 4 or 5 hours and then goes for a run. He is pretty shredded also, so that kind of combined both of the things, A, to read a book, and B, to get an insight what it's to be a writer and also someone who's super fit. So that's how the motivation to this book came. I really enjoyed the beginning of this book. Have a look at the number of pages I've folded, and I know it's terrible, but I couldn't use a highlighter due to the quality of the pages. The author dives deep into his philosophy for life, especially about running, how he conducts himself, why he's the runner he is, and he's super candid about it, and he gets super detailed about each and every aspect, which is something that you look forward to when you read a book. And what you find out is that he's an introvert, and if you're an introvert, you definitely have to read this book, at least the beginning of it. A lot of times when we hear or we read about solitude, we only are showed the positive sides of it, like life is a single player game, it's only about you and all. But the author does a fantastic job about explaining the negatives of solitude also. He says that it's a double-edged sword in which he wants solitude and he gains a lot of out of it, but the fact that loneliness and being misinterpreted has its own demerits, he also accepts that, and he uses that energy, or rather that frustration or anger, into his run. Basically, he navigates or channels all his loneliness and all the energies that come with it and channels them into running, and boy, it's done so beautiful. Also, the author has an entrepreneurial mind, which comes in handy when you decide to switch your careers completely. Like the author used to run a bar until he was 30, and then he decided to switch to being a full-time author. He had some debt that he had to pay to, but again, that entrepreneurial mind, that he was like, I don't need to learn the entire path, or I don't need to know how to move from one thing to the other. I'll figure it out on the way, which doesn't do well for everyone, but it definitely did in his case. And he says that if you put your entire energy and being into that thing, then he's sure, or I'm sure, that you would get positive results out of it. I hope I become a god YouTuber. So these are the few aspects that are also laid out in the book, but the book is majority or primarily about running, and the author kind of does an amazing job in letting you know how efficient running is. All you need is a pair of shoes, and if you're watching this video, I'm sure you can own a pair of shoes. A track, a road, or a hill, by the way, that's gonna be super hard. Those are available unless you're living in a boat or something, which I'm sure you're not. And if you are, I'm super jealous of you, man. But yeah, that's it, man. That's the only thing you need, which is the shoes. You don't need someone else also to run if you're an introvert, or if you seek solitude, then it's super great, man. And still, both of us don't run. Also, I used to envy a lot of people who eat a lot and still gain no weight. I mean, I simply breathe and I gain weight. But the author explains how this can be seen in a positive way also. So we exercise, which I currently don't. We exercise in order to maintain our physique and to make sure that we don't gain that much weight, which in the later years of our life helps us as our bones and our muscles are super strong. Whereas if you're someone who doesn't have to exercise in order to maintain your weight, then your body will become sort of frail and age not that very well. Although I would prefer to be in the second category, at least for now. The author talks about the 3 qualities that are needed to be a successful writer: focus, endurance, and talent. The author talks at great lengths about focus and endurance, but leaves the talent part, which makes you question why was that done. And then you realize that when the author decided to switch the careers, he wrote two books. One was just a manuscript that he sent to the publisher, didn't even have a copy. Both of them did amazing sales, and both of them were nominated for awards as well. I get it, Mr. Murakami, you want to be modest and you don't want people to say that just because he was talented, he got everything. You did an amazing job in letting us know how hard the runs were sometimes. But yeah, you were a talented chap, man. You have to agree to that. The routine. The author wakes up, works for 4 or 5 hours, goes for a run, which I'll be following for a week now. So I live in Delhi, India, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to do that, because when I've tried to run or even go for a walk at 8 or 9, the sun just kills you. And I don't look for the tan. I'm tanned by birth. I'm an Indian, and my mother is super worried if I'll get more dark. Not there's anything bad. Not that there's anything bad to it, but that's a factor. So maybe I have to wake up at some crazy hours like 3 or even 2 in order to make sure that happens. But yeah, let's see. I'll be dropping a video about it, so do subscribe if you want to see how that. I really enjoyed the book. I would give it 4 out of 5 stars. The only thing that I didn't like was, so I read mostly non-fiction, so it's facts. But in this book, the author also writes a lot of fiction. In this book, he explains each and every angle of it, how he goes to the runs, the places that he runs, the surroundings, and explains it in such details, which is done beautifully. And you would definitely enjoy it more if you read more fiction than non-fiction. But I I found it to be very vague or something that was unnecessary. But I get it. That is my personal preference, and I'm sure a lot of people will disagree with it. But definitely the ones who read more fiction will sort of relate more to that. Guys, hope you liked the video review or the summary, and do comment down below and let me know if there's something I can do better. I'm sure there's a lot, since this is one of the first videos. But yeah, I'll be making a video a day, and I hope you subscribe, please, and I hope someone views this video because the last videos got literally no views. So yeah, that's it guys, or that's it, Naman, and let's make a video tomorrow so that no one views it just to increase the Google's cloud storage. But yeah, man, it's really fun. I am being more productive now, I guess, at least when there's a 1 book day challenge. I'm able to read a book a day, but making a video a day and editing a video a day, that seems to be pretty heavy, since I'm also running a business. But yeah, man, it's exciting. Yeah. I hope I can continue that. Enough of rambling, Naman. Do that in the washroom. Bye.